Jay, and welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little motivation, a little inspiration, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike from Alexandria, Virginia. My gratitude this morning stems from the fact that it is my wedding anniversary, and my gratitude is for the fond memories of those people who were there and are no longer here.
Hey, good morning, folks, from the beautiful state of North Carolina. My name is Earl Rule, and my gratitude for this morning is actually the Men's Fellowship. And we had one of our members actually buy us all around the dinner because he had some real financial success. So it was chicken Alfredo on him.
That's awesome. Good morning, everyone. My name's Jay Anderson, yield from the great state of West Virginia. My gratitude is my wife correcting me. Enough said.
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida, and my gratitude today is for fasting. And happy anniversary, Mike and Jennifer. Just I thought I threw that in there. So today Jay Shetty talked about the raft, right? Learning when you were a kid, you had to learn how to ride a bike with training wheels, and when you were swimming, you had floaties on, right? But to continue to develop, you have to take those off, right? You can't continue, they're going to hinder your success in swimming or biking, right? But they might have helped you initially, but it's going to hold back. So you have to let go and release what is no longer serving you. He talked about a Buddhist parable where a man is on a journey and along the way he comes upon a river, right? And he needs to cross it, but it's too deep to cross. He doesn't have anything with him, so he had to build a raft. So he gets all the materials together and he puts a raft together, puts it in the water, goes across the water, gets over to the other side, starts carrying the raft, and as he's carrying it, gets caught on foliage, and it's just hindering his movement forward, right? So he had to put it down, right? Sometimes we have to let things go that got us to where we are now in order to move forward, right? He brought up an example of our morning routine, right? When we have your morning routine might be set in a certain space, right? Where we have this normal morning routine that we do every morning, but maybe you get a new job. Maybe there's kids that come into play, right? So then all of a sudden your morning routine might not be as your morning routine anymore. So sometimes we have to adjust it, right? We might be carrying rafts that we no longer need any longer, right? Change is challenging, but is necessary for growth. And he said, drop the raft. And this is true as we're in life, right? Change is inevitable. We all know that. And it can be challenging, but sometimes in our growth journey, we need that change, right? Or maybe there's something better for us on the other side of it, right? What do you guys think? The morning routine thing happened to me. It just like I had a set morning routine, and then some mornings my daughter would get up, and I was like, "Man, what are you doing awake already? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you?" Because my morning routine would start at 4 a.m. because I have kids, right? I had to get them ready for their day as well, feed them breakfast and stuff. So I would wake up earlier, and sometimes my daughter would decide to wake up, and it threw my whole morning routine out of whack, right? And I ended up being just like Jay was talking about, the girl being frustrated because, it wasn't working, right? Sometimes I'd have to adjust my morning routine because of kids, right? So,
There's, there's
Yeah,
probably an event in all our lives that may cause our morning routines to change. And one of them was graduation, our kids' graduation.
yes.
it's funny, Christine. In my travels this morning, when I was listening to my morning radio program, which I like to listen to every morning, one of the songs that they were playing was Sheryl Crow, "A Change Will Do You Good." And it's funny how that resonates to this podcast that we're doing because sometimes we do need change, even though we hate to admit it. Because too many of us get our comfort zone, but we know when change is necessary. You're right, it can be hard, but you don't know what's on the other side of what you're doing for that change to improve ourselves. And sometimes change is necessary. So even though we hate to admit it, but it's the truth. You have to look in the mirror and say, we need to admit the truth.
Facts.
It's interesting. The symbol of the raft is what we would call, in my mind, our comfort zone. And our comfort zone does not like change, does not like different directions, does not like altercations, there's so many things. Hence is what creates the comfort zone. So this is a good one because sometimes shedding the raft could mean you potentially could be shedding the wrong thing. You don't know. And this is where self-awareness really comes into play. And, Earl, you probably said it best months ago when you talked about the guardrails. The raft is the form of the guardrails on that path. It's still very symbolic parallel between them. And it's, we always say there's only one constant in this world, and that is change. And, it's very true. It's a true statement, but it's not the only constant in our life, but it pretty much is pretty close. And sometimes embracing change can be a very liberating thing. I know back when I was in the car business, I embraced the heck out of change because on a daily basis, I never knew what I was getting ready to walk into. And I I liked that feeling. Now that I've been removed from it, I'm like, how did I like that feeling? I don't know. But I will tell you, if you can embrace it and realize, yes, there is going to be some uncomfortable things up front, and then sometimes that helps you grow as a person. It allows you to know that the capabilities are truly there. Now, whether you can explore and want to explore, that's a different story. But this is a great thing. It's awesome to understand the one thing that allowed this man's life to continue to cross a river and get to this other side. The very thing that saved his life was the very thing that he had to shed because of the dense forest. He couldn't carry that raft any longer. And sometimes that's hard to recognize what we have to shed because I feel like in that parable that raft was a mechanism of life. Okay. It was the safety feature. And that's hard to let go when something has provided for you. And that's kind of a thing. And it makes me think sometimes, and this is just an off the cuff thought, but sometimes we have to tell our family no. And our family has always been our safety line, but sometimes we have to tell them no. And it can be for a variety of reasons. It could be that, don't you think you're in the wrong job? It could be, I need you to take the next 3 days and come help me. It could be anything like that. And your family is your raft. But sometimes you have to say no. And no is shedding the raft. It is moving past that. And it's a hard decision to make. And it's something that I really think that Jay Shetty was trying to say. You need to be aware of it and put thought into it. It's easy to say yes, and it's easy to say the word no. They're easy words to say, but they both have reactions behind which one you use. So this is a very interesting because this is almost a scale conversation, a weighted scale. Which side do you take?
For sure.
And Jay, I want to bring up something you had mentioned just a moment ago, talking about families. Not everybody has that family that they, go
True.
back on. And that's where the scale comes in because it all depends on the business and career that you're in. Maybe it's delayed because you need to make an adjustment in your career or something that needs to be done to complete where you're going. Like I said, it's going to be different for everyone. But for somebody in your family to tell you, no, you're in the wrong job or you're in the wrong, unless it's a complete flop and it's standing right in front of you, I think everybody deserves an opportunity to grow wherever they are. You just need to make those adjustments.
Well, it's your life. I mean, your
I'm sorry.
family's part of your life, but it is your life.
Well,
And
right.
ultimately, you're that responsible for yourself.
And
And
sometimes
some
family gets selfish.
right. Some families are what they call a negative Nelly. They're going to disagree with you no matter what you say because, they're going to express their opinions to what it is that you think. And, and that's what separates families sometimes. So it's a hard truth to face sometimes because, we see it a lot.
And I
So
think we all
this,
got those family members.
Oh, yeah.
oh
Oh,
gosh, yeah. Hell yeah, we do. Come
Yeah, we
on
do.
now. I want y'all to listen to something. Just listen to this for a second, okay? I'm gonna give you the last five titles to what we listened to. And we've talked about this before too. You want to talk about a full circle moment here. Just listen to this. You do you. Think. Preconceptions. Think. Your dream is possible. Think. Blessing in disguise. Think. And then mindfulness for you. That's the last five titles that we've heard from Jay Shetty. And then he brings the zinger, the raft in. It's crazy. For me, you guys might not see it this way. You guys might perceive it totally different. But I feel the raft just made that full circle because he gave us the resources to get rid of that raft.
Yeah. Now we just have to get rid of it, right?
Maybe you see it that way. Maybe now you just have to disagree. Yeah.
And sometimes we don't want to let that go.
Do we store it and know where we left it?
Yeah.
Do you just say, the heck
Just in
with
case I want to come back to it, right?
it?
Just in
I
case.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know if you guys see it that way, but I saw that when I was listening to him. I was like, wait a second. He has given us this past week resources for a reason, and this was the zinger. This kind of just reeled it in for me. And I think what happens on these things is we all take different views from them. So your full circle could have come midweek last week. You know what I'm saying? But this one just kind of hit.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Mike.
One thing,
Oh, go ahead,
oh,
Daryl. Go ahead.
as we were getting ready to open up our men's fellowship and or a little bit Bible study last night, one thing that was mentioned, and I forgot which part of the Bible was because my mind's not quite awake. But I will say this: life is a journey, but life is never easy. It's not supposed to be because we're supposed to learn lessons on the journey that we have. And some people have a hard time accepting that. Whatever it is that we're doing, if we're on the right path, it's still going to come with obstacles. Nothing is perfect, and life will have its challenges because we're supposed to learn lessons in our life, and people have a hard time accepting that.
And
So,
oh, go ahead, Daryl.
but
Sorry, I thought you
no,
were.
no, no. Go ahead, Kristen. You got this.
No, all I was going to add was, do you think that the raft, we look at the raft as like our success and our achievements of like, like me and I guess all of us on the screen and our past careers, like we might have been the top, right? And that's achievements and success and all of that, right? We identify with that. So the raft is like letting go of all of that in order to grow even more, right? But a lot of times we don't look at it like that. We're looking at, I'm already successful or I have already achieved and I don't want to let go of it.
Very good
But
point.
correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the way I was looking at this is the raft is like the anchor of the journey. It's almost like, okay, you're on the raft, you're trying to get to where it is, you're on the raft, you're motion, but it's almost like you're anchoring yourself on that journey to get to your next conquest, whatever it is in life that you're getting to, if it's a change of career, even if it's a personal thing. That raft is trying to help you on that journey. Am I correct or not?
For
Oh,
that
yeah, because
particular
the
part,
raft is whatever you make the raft be.
For,
yeah.
for that
And
particular right.
you're only
So
going to have
when
it for
we're
that.
on that raft, right, exactly. So it's almost like it's like I don't want to say a safety pad, but it's almost like a
It is.
you're
It
yeah,
is.
it is safety pad. Thank you. That I was trying to think of a animated way of saying it. But the thing is, we're gonna face a couple of them in lives because that's just the way life is, and we have to learn to accept it. And some people have a hard time accepting it. Go ahead, Mike. You were about to say something.
The raft is a tool that
The
then
tool,
transitions into your safety zone,
right?
comfort zone, and your comfort zone can lead to some thinking.
Woo, can it not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
But here's another thing. I mean, I keep going back to this one. The obstacle is the journey. Remember?
It is.
It's not what 2 months ago now.
It is for sure.
I tell you, it was a time in my probably my mid 40s. I felt stuck. I need a job. I got a job. Hate a job. Can't do anything else. Too old to change. Blah blah blah. Thinking.
Yeah, and that's such good points. By the way, I don't think you can go wrong with the points that you make on this. I think the raft is what it is that you make it to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, that was just a symbol to try to get the thought and well, not the thought, but maybe the concept of what he was trying to reach. And again, I will say there's four of us on this call, and I promise you there's four of us that have views on how this raft is and what it means to us. But I think the overall concept is in place for the four of us.
And
It's
go ahead, Mike.
interesting. Um, Christopher Nolan's making a new movie, The Odyssey. It's a 3,000-year-old story, right? But it's all about the journey and the struggle and the victory. And as humans, we love that. Otherwise, we yeah, eh, otherwise we wouldn't have read it in high school. Most of us did.
So true. So
I did
true.
not read that in high school. Just FYI.
This younger
You didn't read.
generation. Yeah,
Everybody
come
must
on.
have read the Odyssey or
Come
the
on.
Iliad,
This
one or the
younger
other,
gen.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Come on now. Oh, folks, I think it's very easy to see that we're not licensed therapists or psychologists or anything like that. But man, do we have fun exploring that rabbit hole on content from Jay Shetty. We find that on the app Calm, and we listen to it on a daily basis. And sometimes we get epiphanies during these calls that make us think, those last five, he was trying to get us prepped up. I do think he puts these and arranges these in an order that kind of makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out the schedule of that so I can always complete my circles. Anyways, I hope each and every one of you join us as often as you can.
And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. We surely hope you'll come back next time for more. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.